Welcome back to another edition of the Word with G podcast on SidelineBuzz.com. I'm your host, Greg Larnard, where you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. Today we're talking about Deflategate. Yes, we're still talking about deflated balls. Deflated footballs, that is. The Ted Wells report came out yesterday, and there was a lot to it. The main findings, 2 locker room attendants and 1 superstar, Tom Brady, were mainly responsible in the Deflategate situation. Tom Brady was mentioned in the report upwards of 400 times, while Bill Belichick only mentioned 32 times. Therefore, the upper management and the coaching staff were found to have no involvement, no knowledge of what was going on with Deflategate, but the 2 locker room attendants and Tom Brady, more likely than not, had knowledge of what was going on with the footballs. And Don Yee, Tom Brady's agent, issued a statement yesterday basically saying, what about Tom's side of the story? Well, Tom's testimony basically wasn't used in the report, and why would it be? Because if they knew it was conflicting with other reports that they had gotten from other people they had talked to, and they knew it had a good chance that it was false, why would they put it in the report? They're not going to report something that was false. So that's why Tom Brady's testimony really wasn't in Ted Wells' report all that much. And how many games will Tom be suspended? That's the next big question I think we all have to look at here. Roger Goodell has been known to drop the hammer on certain situations to make an example out of people. But one thing you have to remember is Roger Goodell and the Patriots owner Robert Kraft, very good buddies. And they've been seen together on multiple occasions, at parties together, at games together, at social events. So it's going to be really interesting to see how many games Tom Brady gets suspended. I believe Goodell is only going to give him 2 games. He's going to go on the weaker side and only give Tom Brady 2 games. But I believe it should be at least 4 games, if not more. It would be awesome. And it's not just because I dislike the Patriots, but because I actually was rooting for them in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. But it would be awesome to see him set an example with a star such as Tom Brady that, hey, look, you can't cheat in an NFL football game. This is one of the biggest brands in the world, and we cannot have it being tainted by somebody deflating footballs to gain an unfair advantage, and especially in an AFC Championship game, a playoff game, a game that'll set you to the Super Bowl. We know the Patriots have been having problems getting back to the Super Bowl after they won 3 in a row, and they lost a couple of times to the Giants. They finally have an opportunity to get back, and Tom Brady says, man, I'm getting old. I need to make sure I get myself to another Super Bowl. I'll do what I have to get myself through this game in the rain, in the bad weather, with a little bit underinflated football to get myself back to the Super Bowl and give me a chance to get another ring before time runs out for me and Belichick. So it'll be interesting to see how the league and Roger Goodell handles the suspension. Like I said, I believe it'll only be 2 games. But I think it should be at least 4 games. Your guess is as good as mine. We'll know in the coming days, and hopefully Roger Goodell decides to set an example with Tom Brady here and give him at least a 4 to 8 game suspension. I think that would be appropriate and kind of set the example that this kind of action for quarterbacks or teams around the National Football League, this will not be tolerated. If this was a regular season game, I could see it being 2 games. But it was a playoff game, not just any, wild card divisional round. It was the AFC Championship game. The only way it could have been worse if it was the actual Super Bowl itself. But this is the game to go to the Super Bowl. And the New England Patriots did not need to do that. They outscored the Colts in the second half of that game 28-7. They rolled over them. There was no way that underinflated football needed to be done in order for the Patriots to move past the Colts. They were clearly the better team. I think the Colts had won their Super Bowl, beating the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning the week before. And there was just no need for Tom Brady to do anything like that. But he did it, and he should pay for it. More to come in the coming days. But for now, I'm Greg Larnard with the Word with G on SidelineBuzz.com, where you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. We'll catch you next time.